What's good? L. Gang. Good morning, L gang. So today I wanted to do a story time because I was watching Red Table Talk. I love that show. Shout out to Jada Pinkett, her mother and her daughter. But I was watching Red Table Talk and I was watching the episode about loss. So I decided I wanted to do a story time. So here goes my story time. Loss for me, I don't want to start crying already. Loss for me is really, really big in my life. So it started when I was 4 years old. I lost my grandmother first, my mom's mom. And a few months after that, I lost my dad. So of course, now that I'm grown, they say, do you remember those ages, And it's really hard. But I do remember my dad feeding me baby food. We used to live in Castle Hill Projects. And I remember my dad feeding me baby food in the nightstand in the bedroom. I remember we had a glass table. I remember my dad kissing me. I remember my dad hitting my mom, making her bleed. But even with that, the memories of my dad, he was special to me. He loved me. So I have good memories in my mind, even though there are some bad, My dad died to asthma. And he died in my grandma's house where I was raised, in my uncle's arms. And for some reason, I have the memory of that in my head. And I don't know if I was there or if I put that memory in my head, but I remember my dad laying on the floor in my uncle's arms by the third bedroom where my aunt stayed, in my grandma's house in the projects in Patterson. And I don't know if I made that up or not, but that's what I remember. So then after I lost my dad and my grandma, I lost my mom to the streets. And I lost my grandfather to the streets for a little while, for some years. So when my mom got arrested, I wanted to go with my grandfather. And they wouldn't let me. They said a man couldn't raise a little girl. And they made my mom call my grandma, my father's side of the family, and they ended up raising me. And I just remember crying because I wanted to go with my grandfather. My grandfather was like my dad when my dad died. And I loved my grandfather so much. So I faced those losses, And then as I got older, and I was about to graduate college, I lost my mom physically. And I just remember balling up at the bathroom crying because I knew I was going to lose her before I actually lost her, I remember my mom wanted me to get her out the hospital, and I tried, but I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. I remember when me and my mom would fight, I would call her, and I would hang up after she said hi or hello. And one time she knew it was me. This was like before caller IDs and cell phones, you know. And she was like, "I'm alive, bitch." And I remember there was a time that she wanted me to bathe her. And I just wanted to be with my boyfriend. And, you know, just when I lost my mom, I had a lot of regret. I had a lot of anger. And I don't think that pain ever goes away, you know. It just stays there. And time makes you go on with life, but you always have that pain. We had a lot of laughs together. We went shopping a lot, and she taught me a lot about money, you know. And then when I lost my mom, I moved to a whole other state without telling my family or my baby father. And I was with my baby father for like 7 years on and off. You know, we would just break up, get back together, break up, get back together. I always describe our relationship like baby boy. Like, "I hate you, Jody." And then they sleep together and it's like, "I love you, Jody," you know. That was our relationship. And he was my first boyfriend ever. So I just feel like when I was really introduced to love and what love was from, you know, a relationship outside of family and friends, it was toxic. It was a lot of fighting, a lot of infidelity, we had a lot of love for each other, of course, but I was introduced to, no matter how many times I push you away, as long as you come back, you love me. You love me, you know? And then when I moved and I have my own family and, you know, I lost my grandfather and I couldn't be there to see him off. But I visited him in the nursing home when I said my goodbyes. And it wasn't the same man I knew, you know. My grandfather was a strong, fit man. And the nursing home, he was a fragile, old, couldn't speak man. And I didn't know that man. I knew my grandfather as this strong, loving man, you know. One thing about my grandfather, he loved me. There was nothing he wouldn't do for me. He never hit me, raised his voice. He was like my dad. He was my dad. And I remember before I moved away, he let me stay with him for a few months before I moved. And I'm so glad I did that. he always worried about me. And he said, "You sure you're going to be okay in this new state with none of your family?" And I always just tell him, yeah, I'm going to be okay. I think he was the only one that knew I was leaving New York. And then I got married. So before I lost my grandfather, I lost my husband. My husband was a best friend to me. He was a friend I had for a long time. He was somebody that was always there for me, would always check on me. We never had sex, and he always was there for me. And I was really close with his family. And he was like a best friend to me. So when we got married, everything happened so fast, so natural. And I thought he would be like my forever. And then he took our marriage like it wasn't as serious to him. I lost my friend and my husband. And then I lost my grandfather after that. So loss for me is it's hard. And it shaped me into being angry, being mean sometimes, being strong, and sometimes regretful, you know. And loss for me is hard. And I'm just talking about it because now that I'm getting older, I see how I push people away that I love. I see how the smallest thing can make me not talk to somebody forever. Like, I remember they read my cards in a tarot reading, and they said, you kind of became like a man. Like, you love nice things. You're a really beautiful, caring person, but you don't attach to people. And I really believe that. I believe like I do that. I could push you away and never talk to you again. I could push you away and forget we ever had any kind of relationship. I could do that. I'm good at that. I feel like that protects me from pain and hurt, you know. And I feel like I identify with love when I push you and push you away and you keep coming back. Or I push you and push you away and you never leave. Those people, I feel like I love the most because they always gonna be there. Those are the people I love and hold close to my heart. Because no matter how many times I try to push you away, you don't leave, you know. And I really got to work on that. I got to work on that. I got to work on not pushing people away. But it's hard for me. It is. So basically, I just wanted to do this story time because I was reading and watching about loss. And I know that loss for me is really great, you know, and it has shaped me. And I'm not bad at all, you know, and I'm not the best neither. I would say I'm good. I am. But I know that I don't want to be alone. I do want a solid relationship. And I don't want to keep pushing people that I love away, you know. So I got to work on that. But, you know, just reminiscing and stuff, I just wanted to do this story time. And I'm going to leave it with this. Every day is not promised to us. You never know when you're going to lose somebody. So always love them. Always show love. Make memories. You know, make as many memories as you can. Good, bad, whatever. Make memories. And don't live with no kind of regret, you know. I made mistakes, I did, but I'm happy with my choices. Maybe not always the best choices, you know, when it came to relationships and sometimes friendships. But I don't regret it, you know. I don't regret nobody. And I learned to, like, everybody I've been with, I can always go back, or they always come back to me. And they always come back. And I push them away again. And the second time I push you away, it becomes permanent. Like when I push you away first, like years later, months later, whatever, they come back. But when I push you away that second time, it's like permanent. And I don't regret that, but I do not want to push away the person I'm supposed to be with, you know? So I have to work on that. But yeah, I'm going to keep working on that. And I just wanted to do this story time because I know a lot of people have faced loss. And loss is really hard to deal with. And you're not alone. You're not the only one. And God is good. God is always with you when you feel alone, you know. And so yeah, that's my story time. Like, comment, subscribe, smack that notification from the back. You already know. L. Gang, 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 gang. P.S. P.S. For my kids, no matter how much I push y'all or get mad at y'all, I will always, always, always love y'all. And I will always check on y'all. And I will always talk to y'all, even when I'm mad. Yeah, my heart. Yeah, somebody I would die for. And yeah, I need to know that forever. Love.